Cardinal manager Tony La Russa hopes to lead his club past a tough ninth-inning loss to the Mets yesterday. John Jay will bat first tonight against the Cubs and play center field. And who will close it out for St. Louis if they need help in the ninth inning? Final series at home here in 2011, the Cardinals hosting the rival Chicago Cubs. Glad you're with us. Rick Horton alongside Al Roboski, and the first thing we need to do, Al, is put yesterday's loss in proper perspective.
Well, it was a tough loss, but it did not eliminate this club mathematically. So it just made the road to postseason a little more difficult. But, I mean, there's a lot of people remembering '64. Remember the Cardinals came way from behind, but they don't remember that they lost on Friday and Saturday night. They lost the last two of the three games, and then they won on Sunday to win. So that's all that's got to happen. Cardinals players have been saying they have to win out. That's probably a good formula to get to postseason.
And we're going to be following both the Atlanta Braves and the San Francisco Giant games tonight throughout the telecast. Game one of a three-game series with the Cubs is right around the corner. We're going to take a look at Albert Pujols and what he's done against the Cubs when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. And the Cubs very well.
Albert has more home runs against Ryan Dempster than any other pitcher he's faced. 7 home runs. 5 of those 7 home runs have been hit in Dempster's last 5 games. So you can see in his last 12 at-bats against Dempster, 6 hits, 5 home runs, and 7 RBIs. Look for a number 100 RBI for Albert's 2011 career to come tonight.
He's at 98 right now. When we come back to Busch Stadium, we'll let you know more about the new baseball movie that's out, Moneyball, next. decided he needed to change the way we think about baseball. His innovative thinking went against the grain of baseball's history, but it helped Oakland win with a payroll a third the amount of the Yankees. Moneyball is now a major motion picture, and Fox's Eric Karros, who actually played under Bean's Moneyball system, sat down with those involved in the movie to talk about the experience.
There are rich teams, and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us.
Brad, did you have a favorite team growing up, or did you follow baseball at all?
Baseball and I didn't get along that well. I had no arm. I took a pop fly in center field at high noon, right in the face. Threw the guy out a second, though.
A baseball movie. What's your baseball experience?
You know, I played as a kid. I played in Little League, so basically pro.
Did you? Yeah.
What's your biggest fear? The baseball being hit in my general direction?
We cast all real ball players and predominantly real scouts.
You know, everybody who was involved, I think, comes across, like you said, as a very strong character, and makes for, I think, a great movie. I mean, listen, it's a movie.
We want you at first base. I've only ever played catcher.
It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
Did he get you right?
My kids they're the biggest test, and they were in awe. His mannerisms, he got the bow-leggedness, he took his athleticism.
Did you have to act? Did you have to act to do that, or is that natural?
No, yeah. I just squatted for like 18 years real quick.
He had that goofy gait, and he knocked the athleticism down a little bit, just to be a little bit more like myself.
Do you think you'll lose your job?
What? Where did you hear that?
Well, I go on the internet sometimes.
Don't go on the internet, or watch TV, or talk to people.
The movie's called Moneyball, but after seeing the movie, it's more about Billy Bean.
It is a little surreal, and it takes a while. In fact, you do get desensitized, and you're watching. When I'm watching a Brad Pitt movie, Then you hear your name, and it kind of jolts you back in.
When you first heard that Brad was going to play you on the big screen,
yeah, I haven't really come up with the perfect answer, because there's a fine line. So I finally just said, they nailed it.
They nailed it.
They nailed it.
Moneyball is in theaters now, and be sure to watch the culmination of this baseball season with the ALCS and World Series only on your local Fox station. Question: what is the status of the Cardinals-Cubs rivalry? Text rivalry A, B, or C to 432-432. Standard data rates apply. What do you think? We'll let you know during the telecast. Cardinal Baseball next. The just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. Cool night in St. Louis. The Cardinals and the Cubs, game 1 of a 3-game series. 6 games left for the Cardinals as they chase the Atlanta Braves for the National League wild card. And here is an update on the Braves-Nationals game. First inning, RBI base hit for Dan Uggla made it 1-0 Atlanta. Then Freddie Freeman, perhaps the National League Rookie of the Year, drives in the second Braves run. Jack Wilson follows, and it's an error by the third baseman Ryan Zimmerman. Braves jump out in the first, 3-0 against Steven Strasburg. And then the Nationals get on the board. Wilson Ramos, second inning. It's a double into the right field corner. And there's your update, 3-1 Atlanta. And it is in the bottom of the third inning. Chris Carpenter is making his 33rd start of the season. And it'll be Starlin Castro, Darwin Barney, and Brian LaHare in the first for Chicago. Carpenter set, and we're underway. Castro with 199 hits leads the National League. He's an all-star this year. And he's reached safely in 34 straight games.
Sophomore season for Castro, and he's only 21. And there's number 200.
That's how this series starts. Base hit for Castro. The rest of the Cubs lineup: Darwin Barney, Brian LaHare. Big power numbers in AAA. Then Pena, Soriano, and Bird. LeMahieu, Hill, and the pitcher is Ryan Dempster against Chris Carpenter.
Well, if there's ever a time that you need a complete game, it's right now for Carpenter. He has to go deep and establish the fastball early and save your out pitch. Today's pitchers throw every pitch in to every batter and never save their out pitch for when you need it when you're in a jam. It sounds, today's pitchers kind of say, well, that sounds like a pretty neat idea, but they don't do it.
Out of the stretch already is Chris Carpenter. Carpenter 10-9 on the season. Probably a couple of more wins he could have had, Al.
Low run support. He's had a lot poor defense behind him.
The rookie Darwin Barney, second baseman.
I mean, he's done a nice job, but he's finding the mental strain of playing in September. You know, you play in the minor leagues, your season's over at the beginning of September, and playing this extra month really wears on a player. He's lost 15 pounds, and he doesn't have the body to lose 15.
The 0-1 pitch, offers a bunt, then pulls it back, 1-1.
Starting with Darwin today, and you know, he went to Oregon State University, helped the Beavers clinch their second straight College World Series title in 07. So there's about 7 guys on that team that are playing professional baseball and several in the big leagues. A lot of the pitchers.
Has hit Carpenter well. 2-1. Sure has made a name for himself. I'm sure, Al, he'll come back stronger next year and probably a little bit wiser about how to handle the 162 game schedule.
He said he's from Oregon, but all of his family is from Hawaii and spent a lot of time visiting family and friends in Hawaii.
Ground ball to the left side. Freeze cuts it off and throws out Barney. Cardinal defense behind Chris Carpenter here tonight. In the outfield, Skip Schumacher gets a start in left. John Jay in center, Berkman in right. Freeze and Punto on the left side. Terrio and Pujols on the right. And Yadier Molina is the catcher. Brought to you by Dobbs. So the runner in scoring position is Starlin Castro for Brian LaHare.
Not often you bring a kid up in September, and then he's batting third in your order. 15 games, you see the 375 average, but he was the Pacific Coast League Player of the Year for Iowa. Led all minor league baseball at Iowa with a franchise record 38 home runs and led the PCL with 109 RBIs. It's about what Stavanoa had for Memphis.
Still a shame that Stavanoa did not get called up here. I understand it. Still a shame. He had a nice year.
Travesty as far as I'm concerned. And then when we were talking with Steve, Memphis broadcaster, and he said that Stavanoa was a total professional, that he really made his year and really helped so many of those young kids. They looked up to him, helped a lot of them, very supportive of their years.
Makes you think that perhaps there's a career in baseball for Nick Stavanoa beyond baseball. Of course, you got to play that out. But Steve Selby, as you say, the voice of the Memphis Redbirds, was really singing his praises. And we like him. We know he's had some flashes of brilliance here at the big league level, but really doesn't have a position.
He's lost now because he'll become a 6-year minor league free agent.
The 1-2 is a strike at the knees and on the corner. Strikeout for Carpenter. Wild card race not just in the National League, but also in the American League. The Red Sox and the Yankees squaring off.
They've been postponed, so that probably have to have a doubleheader in there. That's going to throw a monkey wrench into it.
And Tampa Bay's still in it. So are the Los Angeles Angels. Tampa Bay just 2 games behind Boston, and the Angels 3 games out. So very important series going on in baseball in both the American League and the National League. And we'll keep you updated on that series in Washington all weekend long.
So both one of those rare times when the Mets and Yankees are both at home, and both of them postponed, we'd have to imagine, due to rain.
Carlos Pena at 229, but he does have pop. 28 home runs, 79 RBIs. And a big hole right about there.
Well, the Cubs signed Pena to a 1-year, $10 million contract. Led to a lot of speculation that the Cubs could be players for one of the big 2 free agent first basemen. I know one's a fielder. Who's the other one?
We know the other guy.
Oh.
0-2 to Pena. Always interesting 0-2 whether a pitcher is going to go right at and try to finish somebody off that he may have on his heels, or whether or not you kind of play around with him a bit, set up the next pitch.
But Ricky, and a lot of times the pitcher's out there, his mindset is, okay, I got him 0-2, I'll waste this pitch and then I'll get him out with this pitch. And you don't get to the pitch you're going to get him out on because you have less than 100% concentration.
Absolutely. 2-2 now to Pena. Carpenter has been very good in his career at finishing batters off. 143 career wins against just 92 losses.
Just great winning percentage here at home. 32-14 at Busch. It's over 200 innings for the 5th season in his career. Remember, he's had a lot of injury, but he'll win at least 10 games every season that he's pitched 100+ innings. And this year he's 4th in the National League in innings pitched, well over 200. Carpenter has that great cutter to neutralize left-handers. Always the great 12-6 curveball. Maintained good velocity in his fastball all season long.
The 2-2. Now 3-2. Pena has struck out 154 times this year.
A lot of times when you have first base open, 3-2 pitch, you're going to have that breaking ball. Trying to get together with Molina. He just said fastball, didn't he? Just not.
Guess we're hoping that Pena didn't hear that.
It was a fastball and it was low.
How about that? A walk to Pena, our first bank first take. Chicago Cubs ranks this season. In terms of record, they're 13th, ERA 14th. The batting average, not too bad, 258, fifth in the National League, but they have made the most errors in the National League.
Carpenter did go with that fastball with the 3-2 count.
Well, he said he was.
And yeah, I mean, told his catcher and the umpire and the hitter. Challenge it here. A lot of times you want to see that, because if you can establish the fastball, then your secondary pitches are all better as the game goes on. And you've got the hitters conscientious about the fastball. Be out in front, off balance on an off speed pitch.
Alfonso Soriano's not afraid to swing the bat, is he?
No.
Got a big long swing, can be dangerous. Pops this one into right field. This is down the line, and here comes Berkman, but he's not going to catch up to it.
Ball jumps off of Soriano's bat. You make good pitches, you get him out. You make mistakes, he can hurt you.
Hence the 24 home runs and 81 RBIs. For a guy batting just 243.
Well, he's a 7-time All-Star. He's belted 20 or more home runs, 10 consecutive seasons.
Good numbers against Carpenter. 2 runners aboard in the Cubs first.
Well, Carpenter and Molina are not on the same page, are they?
They are not. Couldn't finish off Pena. Now he's going to try to finish off Soriano. Closed stance in front of the box. The 0-2. Just don't see many hitters do that anymore. Get in the front of the box and have a closed stance and get right on the plate. That's kind of unusual where Soriano is. He's very wide with his legs.
See, talking about that closed stance, you'll see the lead leg will be in front of the other. You see more of the back. You can read the number on his jersey.
Swing and a miss on a cutter. He gets Soriano to chase. John Jay, Punto, and Albert Pujols Strikes out Soriano in the top of the first. And a look at the Cardinals batting order. John Jay, Nick Punto, and Albert Pujols, 1, 2, 3, followed by Berkman, Freese, Molina, Schumacher, Terrio, and Chris Carpenter against the veteran right-hander Ryan Dempster.
Well, Dempster's velocity is not the same. It's down from where it used to be. Has a tendency to leave the ball in the middle of the plate. And when he tries to put you away, a lot of times it gets you to chase his high pitches. He's trying to avoid a career-high 14th loss. And he's also trying to snap a season-high 5-game losing streak.
Mike Quade, the manager of the Cubs. It's been a long season for him. And here's his defense here tonight. Soriano, Bird, and LaHare in the outfield. LeMahieu, Castro, Barney, and Pena on the infield. And the catcher is Coy Hill. Quade in his first full season at the helm. He went 24-13 last year on an interim basis. Was given the job. I think the team responded to him some. Of course, he had to deal with Carlos Zambrano, some injuries, and some other issues throughout the year, including the firing of the general manager.
Yeah, it just, I mean, Quade really got the team going in the right direction after he replaced Lou Piniella. Went home to stay and help out with his ailing mother. But, the team really responded. He has a distinguished record in the minor leagues, really deserved the opportunity. Ryan Sandberg, who had been managing at AAA, when he did not get the job, he left, and now with the Philadelphia organization, his original organization, had drafted him. But this year, injuries and other factors took a toll on Quade.
2-1 to John Jay, who's 1 for his last 9. Batting leadoff here tonight. Rafael Furcal getting a mental night off. According to the manager, Tony La Russa, wants him to just kind of relax a bit. The defense has faltered a bit of late with Furcal.
Rafael has committed 7 errors in September, and 5 of those in the last 6 games. We know about the 2 blown double play balls in the last 2 games. So, it just was talking with Mike Shannon about, we always talk about hitters going into slumps. Well, fielders can do the same thing.
Absolutely. But the Cardinals are going to need him now.
Yeah, so, I mean, you just, there you see the errors in September. He's made 7. The Giants have made 7. And Atlanta's made 5. The 2 teams, one you're chasing, and the other one you're trying to, keep below you.
Leadoff walk to John Jay. The Cardinals have a runner. Let's look at our Toyota keys to the game. They involve Ryan Dempster and his career against the Cardinals here in St. Louis. 3-6, ERA over 5. And he's had low run support. Just over 3 runs a game. The team has won just 4 out of 14. Really a 500 pitcher out in his career. He was a closer for a while. Actually 112 and 115 in his career. But he's capable of pitching very well when he's right.
You mentioned that he's been a starter and a closer. He has 10 wins this year. Just the 3rd Canadian-born hurdler to accomplish the feat. Joins Fergie Jenkins, who had 15. And Reggie Cleveland, one of my former teammates, had 8.
Punto at 258, getting the start at short here tonight. He has hit the Cubs well.
And he's come up some big hits last few weeks coming off the bench.
Big hole on the right side. And he takes a strike on the inside corner.
Should say coming off the disabled list for the 3rd time and off the bench. No one ever questions his glove.
Decent lead for Jay. There's a strike on the outside corner, and Nick Punto is caught looking. that brings in Albert Pujols. Pujols at 98 RBIs. One swing of the bat, and Albert could be at 100.
See the average, 468 this season against the Cubs. He's hit more home runs off of Dempster than any other pitcher. 7, and 5 of those 7 have come in the last 5 starts, covering this year and last year from Dempster. Likes the ball out away, likes to throw the ball out there.
Albert has certainly shown that he has no trouble hitting the ball out of the ballpark that's thrown away.
At all fields, but the mindset is you take the ball up the middle. Some might think that he's a little more open, and you might think that's a byproduct, or someone thinking that he may be pitched inside. Try and open up a little bit.
So Soriano is in front of the box. Albert
all
deep
the way
in
to
the
back.
box.
But you're right. Most hitters today get as deep as they possibly can. Takes that much longer for the ball to get to you. Split second longer, but see that back line already marked out, and Albert, if anything, has his big toe on it, but the heel is definitely out of the box.
2-1 the count to Albert. There goes Jay. There's a ground ball up the middle. Castro has it, and he's going to have to throw to first to just barely get Albert. Castro showing some very good range there up the middle, and the Cardinals stay out of the double play.
He sure doesn't pick that leg up, and Soriano just pivots on there. John Jay running. You've got to look in to locate the ball, make sure it's not a line drive.
Lance Berkman with a 10-game hitting streak for St. Louis. He's at .417 during those 10 games. His average back up to 300.
Watch the catcher, see if he catches this ball awkwardly. Yeah. That would make us believe that he was crossed up.
Maybe he thought it was a split.
Splitter or sinking fastball, 2-seamer versus a 4-seamer. Berkman 61 at bats against Dempster, 17 hits.
High number of walks this year for Ryan Dempster. 72 on the season. First base is open. Count 2-0 on Berkman. Now 3-0. I think he's trying to get Berkman to get himself out here, Al, and maybe understanding that first base is open. He may want to take his chances with David Freese.
The difference with Holiday not in the lineup, but did take batting practice today and says he will be in the lineup tomorrow. That's good news. But first base open, kind of pitching around Berkman. And according to Fox Tracks, Berkman Lance should be on first base.
Gary Cedarstrom, our home plate umpire, the crew chief. There's Matt Holliday, is available to pinch hit, and as you say, it'd be fantastic to see him back in the lineup tomorrow.
That'll give the team a little jolt.
3-1 to Berkman. There's ball 4. For the second walk for Ryan Dempster. Brings in David Freese, who's 5 for his last 10. And he had a big 3-run home run in the Mets series. 5 RBIs on Wednesday.
David's season came to a halt in the first half last year with those ankle injuries. Been sidelined the last 2 years, but last year, he wasn't out there that long, but he had about 60% of his RBIs a year ago in his first plate appearance of a game. We'll take that today. Kind of works to his favor. Also Molina, who's on deck, a guy that pitches away, pitching to guys that like to take the ball and drive it to the opposite field.
Jay and Berkman, the runners. The 0-1. Interesting that he has that RBI percentage in his first at bat. Not only, I guess, is that good for him, but the club gets to jump out on top. So I guess you'd prefer that than something different.
I guess most desirable would be late, but
I like the runs
get
early.
Ahead early.
I like those early runs.
So it's really not a bad thing. You just like to keep it going during the course of a game.
They all matter, as we found out here last night.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to try not to talk about that very much because that was a gut wrencher.
It was a gut wrencher for the fans, but I think the team has already put it aside.
Right.
And I think they realized that, hey, they were hoping to win every game, but probably thought that was unrealistic. But the same mantra, you come out and say, we need to win all the games remaining, and the only one you can control is the game you're playing.
Two and two, and I think that's really, part of Tony La Russa's genius, in my opinion. And everybody's got a different thought about how he uses pitchers, and we're all entitled to have our opinion. But I think he manages kind of the emotional state of his team. He really has his finger on that pulse, and he will say things and do things to kind of relieve some of that psychological pressure.
Yeah,
and that's part of what a manager does.
Sure. I mean, what some of his statements to the press is just to take pressure off his players.
Absolutely.
And that's why players appreciate that. But no one's criticizing any of the pitchers for what happened yesterday.
We've seen in this month of September that it's a team game. The Cardinals have won as a team, and as Tony likes to say, you lose as a team.
That's right.
Not the first person to say that, but we've really seen that. Kind of different heroes every night, and really, if any piece isn't working, you lose. You need the defense, you need the timely hitting, you need the starting pitching. Full count, the runners will be moving. And the pitch. Deep into right center field. And the center fielder, Bird, calls off the right fielder, but he doesn't hear him. Still has it in his glove, though. No score through one. We're asking is why has the Cardinals and Cubs rivalry cooled? And you can answer A, the Cubs are bad. That's one choice. B is because there are new rivals on the scene. Milwaukee and Cincinnati. Or 3 is the rivalry's still big in my eyes. You can text rivalry A, B, or C to 432-432. Standard data rates apply. And there's some more votes as we speak. Cubs are bad, new rivalries, or it's still a big rivalry. We want to know what you think. We'll get Al texting here in a minute. No score, top of the second inning. Marlon Byrd has hit Carpenter well.
I say A and C. You know, they just haven't had as competitive teams the last couple of years, and so they aren't playing those meaningful games. And I think in the fans' mind, it's still a big, big rival.
Ground ball to short. Punto boots it. It stays with it and throws out Byrd. Well, you're going to have to text twice then, because we don't have an A and C, so you're going to have to text 2 different times. Punto bobbles it at first and makes the play.
You see it comes out, but it's really right at his feet, so he just stays with it. Stays right on stride. A little crow hop there to get back into a throwing rhythm and a sidearm.
It's our Plaza Tire Foxmo. Good look at Nick Punto staying with that ground ball. Fastball misses to DJ LeMahieu. Cubs roster has certainly changed over the last couple of years, Al. And we talked about one of the names, Carlos Zambrano, who is on the disqualified list, was really just told not to come back. He left the team in the middle of a game after getting knocked out by the Atlanta Braves.
I told team personnel that he quit, and with all the charades and all the problems they've had in the past with him.
Fly ball foul down the right field line.
You know, they took him up on it, but you put him on the restricted list, and what that means is he can't play for your team and he can't play for anyone else's team. And remember, he had like an $18 million contract. You don't get paid. Now, he filed a grievance, but I haven't heard what his translated.
It's still pending.
Still pending.
And he does have one more year on his contract.
And he has another $18+ million contract.
Popped into center field. Jay settles under it. Out number 2.
That was an expensive, you know, little frustration to say I quit.
6 is a serious number again this year. When the Cardinals score 6, you get 25-cent drinks the next day, all day at On the Run at Mobile. That's any 20-ounce coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for just a quarter. We're serious. 2 outs for Carpenter here in the second. And another bat that he does not have to contend with probably in this entire series is Aramis Ramirez. And he has been a Cardinal killer. Actually having a very good season, top 10 in the league in batting. And he has been dealing with injuries and not expected to play at all here in St. Louis.
He left Tuesday's game with a mild right quad strain, listed as day-to-day, but it makes a difference when you take his bat and his RBI machine out of the lineup.
No doubt. He most likely will not be a Cub next year, but should draw some interest from some other clubs. Cubs coming off a 4-2 homestand, and they're playing a little bit better of late. So you can't take them for granted in this series. The 1-2.
Start playing some of the kids. They bring a little more energy, but Cubs had a certain window of opportunity, and that's running out. Got a couple contracts that are, you know, they just can't get off their payroll, and it's just killing them.
Swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch takes care of Coy Hill. 3 strikeouts for Carpenter. to our nation's capital one more time. A score update, and it's Dan Uggla again. RBI double makes it 4-1 Atlanta in the 5th. Everybody's scoreboard watching here in September.
Washington at least getting a few hits. They'll make a game out of it. But disappointing from Cardinal Nation that Strasburg didn't have much in the first inning. Gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. There was an error in that inning, but 38 pitches. And you know he's on a pitch count.
You bet. Strike one to Yadier Molina. Batting .545 in this homestand. His average up over 300.
Hit well against the Cubs. He's hit well against Dempster. Having a career offensive season.
And a line drive base hit for Molina. That's a bullet up the middle. Cardinals have their first hit.
Boy, he's just emerged as a hitter. Remember, he used to always experiment with different batting stances. Works so much with Albert Pujols, and Albert says, you know, hey, get one, stick with it. And he really has come on. Highest batting average in his career, most home runs, new career high in RBIs. Won 3 straight Gold Gloves, and career in doubles.
Skip Schumacher. Cardinals really could use Skip to get going. And he lines this one into center field. It's deep and it's down. It's off the base of the wall. Molina headed to third and is held up there by Jose Oquendo. Skip Schumacher jumps on the first pitch from Dempster and doubles to center field.
Skip has good numbers. That's why he's in the lineup. Alan Craig doesn't have a hit against Dempster. Schumacher has good success, and as you say, jump on the first pitch. The Expo Cam brought to you by Plaza Tire Service. One hops the wall, and anybody other than Molina running, the Cardinals would be up by 1. But Oquendo, who's extremely aggressive, usually sends everybody. You know, here with nobody out. Ontario, who's 1 for 3 against his former teammate. You know, the right thing to do to hold him up. Unless he can walk home, hold him up.
Strike one to Terrio. All the Cardinals need here is a ground ball to a middle infielder, and it's 1-0. Oquendo wants to talk to Terrio.
You know, last time the Cardinals were in Chicago, it was a national television game, and they really singled out Starlin Castro, how really doesn't look like he's ready to play defense at all. And you would have thought that he would learn the lesson. Mike Quaddy had taken him out for the next couple days and tried to teach him a lesson, and probably show him that some of that video, but just looks so disinterested. And personally, a little disappointed that he hasn't really learned that lesson. Pitcher's ready to throw a pitch, and he's standing there flat-footed. There was one time he even looking, you know, towards the outfield when the pitch was being made. But he's a young star. Got his 200 hit today. Got a career high 35 straight games that he's reached base. But there's other things of the game he needs to learn.
Should be ready right now.
A little better.
Was 3-1 now to Terrio.
Now it doesn't help with you pitcher not throwing strikes.
The Atlanta Braves have added on in Washington. Strasburg's not in. Brian McCann doubles to right center field, and it's now 6-1 Atlanta.
Now, Ricky, it just reminds you is you really can't look for help from other people. You just have to win your ball game and hope for the best. But you can't say, okay, Strasburg's pitching, you know, there's going to be a loss.
You can't count it.
No, you just can't count on it. You can hope for it.
Ground ball back to Dempster, and Molina's hung out, and they're going to tag him out. But good base running by Schumacher to go from second to third.
Coming home on contact, but it's right back of the pitcher, and then he stays in the rundown long enough to allow Shoemaker to get to third. But Dempster has a double play in order now to get out of the inning with Carpenter up.
Not sure that trade really worked out very well for the Cardinals. Now they have runners at first and third instead of second and third, and a little more speed at third base and Skip Schumacher. But as you say, the double play now a possibility, and Carpenter may be bunting here anyway. Squares, and he takes the first pitch low. Signs going from La Russa to Oquendo.
Tony usually forgives runners for making mistakes if they're aggressive mistakes, but because of Molina's running speed and nobody out, you would think he'd have to have the ball go through.
There's a squeeze, and it's perfectly done. The Cardinals are going to lead 1-0 thanks to a suicide squeeze perfectly executed by Chris Carpenter.
You know, you really don't have to make a perfect bunt, but all you do have to get the ball down and far enough out on the plate. It's very difficult to defend. If the runner doesn't go too soon, you know, the hitter's showing bunt, but you know, in this case it's a suicide squeeze. The runner is coming home, reaches out, and Dempster really was not anticipating that. With a ball out of way, easy to bunt, and Plaza Tire Service brings you that shot.
Terrio advances to scoring position. Exciting play in baseball. The suicide squeeze. 1-0 Cardinals. Very well done. When's the last time we saw a squeeze play work?
A couple years ago, it was a big part of the Cardinal offense.
Sure was.
And really haven't seen it much since then. But you know, good. And Schumacher there. What helped out was that Dempster really not trying to defend against it, just threw a ball right up out over the plate, easy to bunt.
John Jay walked in the first inning, 0-2 here. Dempster is set. And he strikes out John Jay to throw on to first base. Second strikeout for Ryan Dempster, but the Cardinals pick up a run here in the second. 1-0 St. Louis. in a showdown between Big 12 rivals. The FX College Football Game of the Week, presented by Russell Athletics, begins Saturday at 7 p.m. in high definition only on FX. Top of the third inning, Chris Carpenter looking for victory number 11, and it would be a big one for St. Louis. Al Raboski, Rick Horton, and Jim Hayes here in the third inning, and we're delighted to have you with us. Cardinals scored a run in the bottom of the second inning on a suicide squeeze, and Jim, we haven't seen one of those in a very long time here.
When was the last time we saw one?
I can't really remember.
Oh, I can. Eckstein.
David Eckstein.
Yeah, 06.
That was the last one. No, I can't believe that was the last one. It was a pretty exciting one.
That's the last one we really remember.
2-2 to Ryan Dempster. Dempster batting .073, and he's played all year, and he doesn't have an RBI. What does that tell you? Never been much of a hitter in his career either, but always respect somebody in the batter's box with a bat in their hand. There you go. Jinxes.
Jinx.
That's not an RBI.
No, but it's a base hit. Adds to his .073.
We were wondering about that squeeze play. I wonder if we have a flashback.
It's the Cubs, too. Walk-off squeeze play. That's why we remember it.
Al said 06. But you were right.
What's that?
I said Eckstein. You have good memory.
Base hit for Dempster. Brings in Starlin Castro. His single in the first inning was his 200th hit of the season. Ground ball back to Carpenter. The second for one. On to first. Double play. Very well turned. 1-4-3.
Give up a base hit, then you erase it with a double play. Make their counterpart go up there and run hard. So
Ryan Theriot playing second base. He's played so much shortstop this year. Tonight, Jim, we see Nick Punto playing short, which means Rafael Furcal has the night off.
Now you look at career batting average against Dempster for Cal 158, but Tony says that's not the reason. He said he was beating himself up after the big error last night, that he wanted to give him a day to just clear his head. Obviously that was a big play last night.
Well, you know, he missed so much time this year with injury.
Hard hit to center.
Played a lot more games with Cardinals than he did with the Dodgers.
1-0 St. Louis. for Team USA event and get behind the wheel of a BMW to show your support. By the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. And by Verizon 4G LTE. Rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world. Nice night for baseball. Busch Stadium, downtown St. Louis, 1-0 Cardinals. That run scoring on a suicide squeeze and an RBI for the Cardinals starting pitcher, Chris Carpenter. Nick Punto, Albert Pujols, and Lance Berkman will hit here in the third inning. And every time we get to the middle of the order, Jim Hayes, we have to ask our daily question about Matt Holliday.
Well, Matt has that finger injury. Some people were afraid he might be out for the rest of the season. Well, Holliday took BP today. Looked good, felt good, and was cleared to be a pinch hitter today if need be. And Holliday says he'll be in the starting lineup tomorrow. So that's a dramatic recovery, because there was a stretch where it looked like we didn't know when he was coming back.
See the smoke rising here. We just have to surmise it's coming from one of the concession stands with the charbroiled burgers. Broiled burgers and everything, something like that.
Seems to be coming from the upper deck here.
Yeah.
We had that issue in Milwaukee, wasn't it, where we had
fire in the concession stand right there.
Yeah.
Kettle corn.
Holliday also confirming that he did in fact injure that finger swinging the bat in the on-deck circle. There was some speculation that he might have done it in an earlier at bat, but he said no, it was just a fluke thing in the on-deck circle.
Now, I would think you'd have to be careful about how you use Matt Holliday because he swings so violently. Maybe he's testing that out in batting practice, but we've just seen him when he swings that if he's not 100%, certainly has an opportunity or a chance to re-injure it.
And I'm sure that they'll be very cautious with him, and he says that he's going to be in the starting rotation or in the starting lineup tomorrow.
When I spoke to John Mozeliak about Holliday, he was pretty clear that if there was a chance of further injuring that finger, they would not bring Holliday back. So I'm fairly certain he has been cleared.
Got 5 more years of contract, so obviously, but it is good to see him wanting to get back in that lineup as soon as possible and available to pinch hit tonight.
2-2 to Punto. Fly ball to left, down the line. Soriano runs out of room, and it's out of play. And really, the last 3 weeks has really taught us, even when things are going well, you're still going to need other players to fill in. Alan Craig or Nick Punto here today, and you can't just throw the same 8 guys out there over 3 weeks without somebody either getting hurt or maybe lowering their production. You just really need more players.
We saw Terrio with a key pinch hit. Huge at bat for the Cardinals. Chambers has had a couple of big hits. That's what you need if you want to put something together.
Well, Tony tries to, basically the first half, play everyone to keep them sharp, determine who is your best starting 8, and then in the second half, pretty much say, okay, you played best, you get the best and the most playing time.
Popped up by Punto behind home plate. Hill does not toss his mask, but makes the play. If you have a question for our broadcast team, go to carsoup.com/Cardinals. Send us your email to booth questions. We're trying to track down the source of that smoke that we're seeing over Busch Stadium, but it doesn't appear to be coming from here, Al.
No, it's coming from there.
Thanks for clearing that up.
See, this is the kind of knowledge that people want to email the booth and ask a question. Where's the fire? There.
Hard hit, base hit the other way for Albert, and it could be more. He rounds first. He's headed to second. Tripped a bit rounding first base, but it'll be a stand-up double for Albert Pujols.
Well, Albert's not playing with 100% legs. He's had that ankle injury a little bit. He'll play every day, but not running as well. And Brian LaHare, the right fielder, is a natural first baseman. They're trying to keep his bat in the lineup. There you see the slip as he came to the first base bag.
Albert has now reached safely in 39 straight games via
a streak,
via walk or hit some way. Lance Berkman.
You know why Albert got that hit, don't you? It's a little vibes I was sending out there because I was eating an Oh Yeah bar, the protein bar that Albert eats at least 2 a game, and the protein shakes that he endorses.
We'll save one for later in case we need it.
I've got a bunch more, and I'm hungry.
One always high. I think he has a bunch because he continues to say the name on the air. What are they called again?
Oh Yeah.
There we go. Another case.
Oh, now I understand. Good for Albert. Good for Al.
I mean the cookie caramel crunch. There it is. See? Oh yeah. And a lot of the players endorse them. They're very high protein bars. And they got protein shakes. I have one every morning.
Jim?
Another case.
You must have a comment to that.
I really don't.
2-0 to Berkman. There's a strike on the inside corner.
You know, a lot of people were wondering about last night's really heartbreaking loss and how this team will cope with that. Tony was asked about it, and he said these guys have done a good job all year. He said that's why when they have the beards, I never say anything. The tattoos, these guys play hard, and I can rest assured that they are okay, and they've been loose all year, even when things weren't going well.
Missouri Lottery brings us Fox Tracks this half inning. And there is a difference, Al, between a team that is loose and having fun and a team that has lost focus and is loose and is having fun. And
right, that's a very good point. You know, you could have a team having a lot of fun for the wrong reasons.
Because they have a nice job, they're in the big leagues.
But I think
they have a baseball card.
Berkman's been a big part of teaching guys how to have fun at the right times, the right way, and still your primary goal is to win the ball game, and then we can have fun after the game. But it's a lot easier to play this game if you're loose.
It's such a long season too.
It's a grind.
You can burn yourself out, and that goes for guys that are in the booth.
We're
got to
loose.
stay loose.
We're loose. There's our split screen on Starlin Castro. Will he be ready for this pitch? Full count. Not bad. I had a college coach that told me something early on in my college years, something I actually didn't understand when he first said it, is if you want to play baseball well, you have to relax and concentrate. And I thought, wait a minute, you relax and you concentrate, those sound antithetical.
Explain that to Al. Explain that to Al.
Al, you tell him. Opposites.
I'm trying to get my leverage so I can throw this punch.
I hope you connect. But you do have to relax your body, but focus with your mind. And doing those two things at the same time is not always easy to do. Ball 4 to Berkman.
Second walk for Berkman tonight. That's 3 on the night for Dempster.
David Freese steps in. I was talking to him about his swing, which just naturally seems to be geared toward opposite field hitting. And he said when he was a kid, he was real little. And that's something his dad used to hammer away at. Right center, right center, right center. So that's second nature. And he says when he's in a groove, that's where he should be looking.
Nice batting average with runners in scoring position. 366. Opportunity here for David Freese. 1 out in the Cardinals' third. I don't want to be looking into it here too much, Al, but it seems to me that Dempster may be on the ropes a bit here. Losing his control. Doesn't seem very precise with his pitches.
I think it's just kind of the way he's pitching right now. And the walks to Berkman, I think, are somewhat by design. Looking for this.
And that's what he got. 6-4-3 double play. 1-0 Cardinals through 3. Inning. Chris Carpenter has allowed 2 hits and 1 walk, 3 strikeouts through 3. Middle of the order for the Cubs, Brian LaHare. As Al mentioned, 38 home runs in AAA, and he's had 2 since his call-up. Very high on his ability. 1 hopper. Nice play by Theriot to retire LaHare. Today, join the people at Anheuser-Busch in a nationwide effort to encourage alcohol responsibility. Show your friends you care by pledging to be a designated driver at facebook.com/Budweiser. Designated driver, and enjoy the great times. Wonderfully choreographed.
Oh, yeah.
Did you work with them, Al?
Yes, I did. Anheuser-Busch had over 1,500 employees out stressing that point in area taverns. You know, drink responsibly, get the designated driver.
Carlos Pena doesn't appear to like that pitch up and in at all. Carpenter's tried to pound him in.
Haven't seen too many hitters do like it up and in.
Even the pitch that's a strike up and in, he doesn't seem very comfortable with. Does have 28 home runs.
Going back there again.
There's that location. Most left-handers, Al, we've learned over the years, they just seem to love the pitch down in the zone. Not everybody. I thought Jimmy Edmonds was a very good high ball hitter from the left side.
Hammer, John Milner, Mets primarily in the 70s, was a high ball hitter from the left side.
2-2 pitch to Pena. Just misses that inside corner on the cutter. Pretty good location. And our Fox track says perhaps it was strike 3.
Albert and Lance Barksdale having a conversation over there, and Bobby Denier, the first base coach, trying to say Albert leaving too soon, but Albert's he's working the umpire.
The gamesmanship going on over there.
Denier lives in Kansas City, and Albert grew up in the Kansas City area, but sad to say that he left too soon on that one. Bobby, I think you need to get your eyes examined. He thought he left too soon on that one. Pena's walked twice against Carpenter tonight.
Had a chance to meet Pena during the home run derby when the All-Star game was here in St. Louis, and what a nice man he is. Ball popped into shallow center field. Carrio's back. Jay comes in, makes the play. Update from Washington. Braves and the Nationals going at it. Game 1 of their 3-game series. Jason Worth, RBI base hit to center field, and it's now 6-2 Atlanta. So don't give up hope there.
Yeah, well, I've heard that teams can overcome a 4-run deficit.
Vaguely in my mind, I remember that happening. I'm not going to lie to you, Al. I was stunned last night.
Well, I think we all were. You know, it just they performed so well, and you just thought even when they, you know, started making a comeback, the Mets would fall short. Somebody would come up with a key pitch here and there. It just didn't happen.
A series of things happen.
Sure.
It's never just one thing.
A lot of walks that inning. Base hits that just off the fingertips of gloves.
Not to mention the gift run that the Cardinals gave him in the 8th inning. Error, wild pitch, pass ball.
Sure. Remember that one very well. But you didn't think much about it at the time, but.
Pena the runner at first. No threat to steal there. Line drive, base hit to right. That came on an 0-2 pitch. Would you like to meet Adam Wainwright, Kyle McClellan, Lance Berkman, and Daniel Descalzo at Dick's Sporting Goods at West County Mall tomorrow? Then go to cardinals.com/DSG to purchase your tickets and help Cardinals Care and Dick's Sporting Goods provide baseball and softball gloves for kids in our community. That's cardinals.com/DSG. Adam Wainwright would love to meet you. Two runners aboard for the Cubs here in the 4th inning. Chris Carpenter trying to pitch out of this mini jam, facing DJ LeMahieu.
Another LSU product. He's a career .317 hitter in the minor leagues. 157 RBIs in 284 minor league games over the past 3 seasons.
Carpenter, the only starting pitcher for the Cardinals that will have one more, actually 2 starts left, counting tonight. It pitches tonight and would be slated to start the last game of the season against the Houston Astros. So the other 4 starters get one more start. Carpenter making his 33rd start of the season here tonight. Breaking pitch pulled down on that one a bit too much.
A guy like Carpenter who's won a couple comeback of the year players of the year, you know, with all the serious arm injuries he's had, still has that nerve damage in his shoulder. has been very durable the last 2 years.
Sure has.
He's tied for the most starts in the major leagues over the last 2 years. This will be a 68 start over 2 seasons. Only Danny Herron is tied with him during that time.
So Carpenter at 36 years of age, because of his durability, is rewarded with a contract extension. Will be a Cardinal for the next 2 years. He's happy about that. The Cardinals are happy.
Yeah, I mean, he had a $15 million option. They renegotiated that to a 2-year, $21 million. Said he wanted to finish. I wanted to come back next year as a Cardinal and finish his career as a Cardinal. And why not? It's been a good one.
Ground ball to short. Punto has it. Flips to Terrio. And the Cubs are retired here in the 4th. A walk and a hit. 2 stranded. Cards by 1. High school football. Very excited about this. You can watch 4 games each week at foxsportsmidwest.com. It's totally free. Watch our weekly show, analysis of the top teams. Friday night Fox Sports Prep Zone coverage begins September 30th on foxsportsmidwest.com as we bring Friday night football home to you.
That's great. You know, try and do everything you can to allow high school football.
Update from Washington. Wilson Ramos, another RBI. And it gets a little tighter. It's now 6-3 Atlanta. And Tim Hudson has been knocked out of that ball game.
Both starters are out of there, and you know, Strasburg, who had the rough first inning, be on a pitch count, you know, he wouldn't last long. But Hudson, you know, I mean, he has kind of faltered down the stretch also. A couple starters missing on injury, and then you don't get Lowe and Hudson struggling.
High fly ball to left. This one's way up there. Soriano makes the play without the hop. Kind of his trademark.
Maybe that was too high.
Maybe.
You know, maybe he was a little bit smart saying that's a major league pop-up.
Skip Schumacher has scored the game's only run. He had a double off of Dempster in the second inning, which sent Yadier Molina to third, and then Schumacher advanced second to third on the ground out to Terrio when Molina was caught between home and third. And then he scored on Chris Carpenter's successful suicide squeeze. There's your scoring. 1-0 Cardinals. Schumacher strikes out. Third of the night for Ryan Dempster. Both teams have managed just 3 hits in this game. The pitcher's done a nice job.
And they're both very capable of shutting down the other team's offense, but Cardinals with a lot more at stake. Hard to see them stake Carpenter to a bigger lead.
You mentioned, Al, that Dempster has lost his last 5 decisions. Last 7 starts, he's 0-5. But in his last 4 starts, he's gone 6 or more innings and has only given up 2 or 3 runs. So it's not as if he's getting beat around. His club's just not scoring runs for him.
And his ERA really hasn't changed much during that losing streak than what it is for the season. A tall leg kick.
2-1 to Terrio. 5-game hitting streak for Ryan.
He grabs that split finger grip. Kind of turns the glove. Started doing that because he was tipping some pitches, so it's a way for kind of hard for people to look in and see the grip or see if he opens the glove hand, changing the grip or tightens it a different way. You do that, it's hard to tell.
Line drive caught by the third baseman LeMahieu. Nice grab by the youngster. Tough break for Ryan Terrio. Ball hit right on the nose. That'll be Saturday, September 24th. Hey, that's tomorrow. We'll be at the Ford Plaza inside Busch Stadium. Get the facts, get tested, learn more at allabouthepc.com/baseball. Eight, 9-1 for Carpenter in the Cubs' 5th. They have 3 hits in this game. Castro, Bird, and the pitcher Dempster, who waits on deck. Back-to-back curveballs from Chris Carpenter to start the 5th.
Sometimes that pitch will betray you early in the game, but you got to keep on throwing it because as you wear down, maybe it becomes your best pitch.
Strikes out Hill for the second time on 3 pitches. We've been asking your opinion about what's going on with the Cardinals-Cubs rivalry. It's been going on for so long. And what do you think? Is it cooling because A, the Cubs are bad, B, because the Cardinals now have new rivals in Milwaukee and Cincinnati, or C, I think it still is a big rivalry? Text rivalry A, B, or C to 432-432. Ground ball to short. Tough play for Punto. And he throws out the pitcher, Dempster.
Tough play, and Dempster can almost smell his second hit, so he's running hard down the line and still running hard as he makes a turn back towards the dugout. But watch here, look at Punto. It's not easy when you're running hard and you're bending over, trying to backhand a ball, then reach into the glove and make the exchange and throw off balance.
I still believe if you're thinking about the smoothest fielder the Cardinals have, in my mind, that's still Rafael Furcal. I just love his hands. I love his range. And he is certainly struggling right now. But Nick Punto, I'd say, is right up there in terms of having good hands. And that's one of the things you look for as an infield coach. It's certainly their range, but you know, does it hit their hand like hitting a rock, or does it kind of hit their hand like it's being hit into a pillow? Nice soft hands.
Sometimes you watch guys that almost the ball doesn't stay in the glove. This ball looked awfully good. Breaking ball. Gone around the plate a little bit, maybe low. Castro already got his base hit, number 200. He's the youngest to do it, have 200 hits, wearing the Cub uniform, and not many have 200 hit seasons this young. Last time a Cardinal did it was Gary Templeton. That might have been the year that Templeton had 100 hits from each side of the plate. Switch hitter, which was another rarity.
Very unusual. 3-2 now to Castro. Ground ball back to Carpenter. Bare hands it. And he gets Castro by a half step. Good, strong 10-pitch inning for the Cardinal ace, Chris Carpenter. Happened at Wrigley Field. The Cardinals beat the Cubs that day 6-5, so we were all happy about that. But Mark Grace did pick up his 1,000th career RBI for Chicago.
Doesn't that always take a little steam out of it when you lose the ball game?
Sure does. You're celebrating and nobody else is.
Or you just feel like you're guilty for celebrating.
Right.
Big hello to Robert Pickett, Bonnie, Illinois. Never misses our broadcast. Big Cardinal fan. Hopefully Carpenter will continue to pitch well and maybe do something with the bat. Already got the only RBI of the game. Suicide squeeze.
One and one to Carpenter. Carpenter has improved his hitting some.
Yes, he has. Tony La Russa gives his hitters so much hitting practice. I don't think when he first came over from the American League was not much about pitchers hitting.
Mayhew throws out Carpenter. And the only run we've seen here tonight, Chris Carpenter, perfectly executed suicide squeeze. Schumacher scores. And not only do you have to do the bunt part right, Al, but as you said, the base runner has to leave at the appropriate time.
Right.
Otherwise, you give it away.
Maybe our shortest Nissan drive of the game ever, but effective. And don't you agree with me? It's so difficult to defend against. If you get the bunt down, it's hard to defend against it.
If you do it right.
If you do it right.
Backing up is Barney. He got a tough hop right there, and he had to back up at the last second.
You always try to be coming forward when you're catching a play, but backed up. Hyundai will show you how he backs up, but then he really guns the ball over. You're flat-footed. Just have to use all arm strength to do so, and he did a nice job on that one.
Nick Punto is 0 for 2. Cardinals trying to find some more offense here tonight. Redbirds have played an awful lot of close games lately, Al. And they've won most of them.
Which is, a redeemer for the bullpen. I mean, that's what more indicative of how the bullpen had been pitching the last 3 weeks. You don't win close run games without getting, the bullpen being effective.
Last night an aberration, obviously, but bullpen has been very good, and it'll be interesting how far Chris Carpenter can go here tonight and who the choices might be in that Cardinal bullpen in the 8th and the 9th if Carpenter needs help.
Tony La Russa was very adamant in not talking about who's going to close tonight. Told the media that you just have to watch and see. Kyle McClellan has not been available the last couple days. He needed some time off, and so he would be one of those candidates.
Punto has been off balance all night with Dempster. Struck out and popped up to the catcher.
He was 0 for 2 against Dempster in the past.
Mentioned that the Cardinals would not see Aramis Ramirez in this series. We know that Carlos Zambrano is AWOL, but Kerry Wood also not available for this series. He's dealing with a knee issue. Can have some meniscus shaved off at the end of the season. His arm is fine, but has some knee problems. So one guy that is very healthy at the end of that bullpen for Mike Quade is Carlos Marmol. Marmol not as good now this year as he's been in the past, but he's still a pretty good weapon to have in the 8th and the 9th.
And a very good setup left-hander in Marshall.
Right. 3-2 to Punto.
And that swing off balance.
Punto trying to get a board for Albert Pujols. Ball 4. A walk in front of Albert. Every Sunday during the 2 hours prior to the Cardinals game, enjoy free frozen treats and win fun prizes in the Ford Plaza courtesy of North Star. For ticket information, visit Cardinals.com. Our final one this Sunday, Fan Appreciation Day. Cardinals closing out at home with the Cubs and off to Houston for the final series of the season. And where will the Cardinals end up?
I think I better go have another oh yeah bar, because I feel a 2-run home run. Get those 100 RBIs and another home run. That ball looked down and away and called a strike.
Albert not happy.
No, I think he just, he rarely questions, but
the 0-1 to Albert.
more home runs against Dempster's 7 than any other pitcher he's faced. And 5 of those 7 have come in the last 5 starts.
Nick Punto worked a walk. He's at first base with 2 outs. The 1-1 to Albert. Just pulled off that one a bit. Looked like that could have been a pitch to hit for number 5.
Talk about maybe opening up a little bit. Do that, you're possibly going to pull off the pitch. So you're squaring up to it and just driving that ball. Still virtually no leg kick at all. Wide balance, keeping from being out in front on off-speed pitches, which we have seen him lunge at an awful lot. Still say he's going to get the 100 RBIs. This plate appearance.
Something that is often taught to young kids. You kind of get that phrase, step into the ball, but really the more accomplished hitters, and when you get to higher levels, you're really not taking a large step. That's not where your power comes from. Your power comes from your backside. So Albert really just pivots with his front foot. Some players have a short step forward. The 2-2 to Albert. Lays foul.
Get out of the way of that one. It's like somebody caught it. Yeah, he's a Cub fan too. He might be playing that for the Cubs tomorrow. That was a rocket. I think he just gave him a medal for saving some people in the stands.
Agreed. Guy behind him patting him on the back. Good call.
Now the Cub fans are coming out of the woodwork. That's what's neat about this rivalry.
You bet. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Albert. Cardinals strand one more. Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. For a limited time, Jack's Really Big Chicken Sandwich Combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. And everybody on HP. Busch Stadium, downtown St. Louis. Pitchers duel in progress. Chris Carpenter out for the 6th. Facing Darwin Barney, rookie second baseman with the Chicago Cubs. He's 0 for 2. Line drive to center. Now he's 1 for 3.
Good little player, isn't he?
Sure is. Hit number 4 for the Cubs. And the 3rd time they've had their leadoff runner aboard.
Well, he looks like he's about 15.
He does. It's a young man's game, Al.
You know, Brian LaHare had a little time in the big leagues with Seattle, and now he's like 29 years of age. And I told you he was the Pacific Coast League's Player of the Year. Hit 38 home runs this year. And I got the impression, talking with Rudy Jaramillo, a distinguished batting coach for Chicago, that he saw him when he was with Texas, and I kind of believe that he was instrumental in getting him over here with the Cubs. And like I said, he's a natural first baseman, trying to play the outfield a little bit. I kind of feel maybe, you know, he's one of those late bloomers that right now he maybe has found his batting stroke. Hit 250 with 4 doubles, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs in 45 games with the Mariners at 08. Originally selected in the 39th round of the 02 draft, but looks like he's found it this year.
With that time, he's not technically a rookie this year, but really getting the playing time and getting the look, Al, because of really the decline of Tyler Colvin. Tyler Colvin was a guy they were very, very high on, and you look at his batting average, more than 200 at-bats. He's still batting 154.
And Ricky, I mean, he spent time back in the minor leagues. He had 20 home runs last season in very limited play.
LaHare strikes out for the 2nd time.
Yeah. They didn't have these kind of pitchers down at AAA, Pacific Coast League, but 38 home runs, 109 RBIs at any level is pretty good.
And speaking of the minor leagues, our congratulations need to go out. Honored before the game, actually 2 Cardinal minor league teams. The Appalachian League champion Johnson City Cardinals won their 2nd straight title. Mike Schilt, the manager there. Our good friend Pat Kramer, their equipment manager, was here as well. It's good to see Pat. We love him. Quad Cities was also honored. They won the Midwest League championship. The manager for that club, Johnny Rodriguez. So congratulations not only to both of those clubs and all the kids there and the coaches and training staff, but also to John Vooch and Jeff Luno for what they've done and really advancing this minor league system.
That's great to bring those kids in and honor them.
Line drive, base hit to right, and it's in the corner. Barney rounds third. He's headed home. Terrio, throw to the plate, is offline. And this game is tied 1-1 here in the 6th inning. Carlos Pena delivers a 1-out double.
Carpenter walked him the first 2 times. This time Pena gets him for his 80th RBI. So 2 hits allowed. See the ball, they wanted it away. It's up over the inside part of the plate, turns on it. Terrio's throw way off line, but Carpenter backing up, so no further advancement.
That's a good point. Carpenter exactly where he needs to be. Otherwise, there's a runner at third base with 1 out.
You get back behind the plate, and then you adjust as the play develops. You see kind of the angle where the throw's going to be. Sometimes today's pitchers are very laxed in covering and backing up bases.
A 1 pitch to Soriano. Even at 1.
If you think about it, if Carpenter wasn't where he was, And Pena goes to third with one out. Look at how far he's off the line, but Carpenter's right there. And if he would have saw that throw going straight to the plate, he would have backed up the plate.
The line drive to center field, deep but playable. Not tagging at second is Pena. John Jay gets the ball in quickly. You know, it's funny on the backing up home plate for Carpenter, really any pitcher out. We've seen it before where the pitcher can actually go to the right position, but then not really adjust or pay attention to the throw because they just assume it's going to be a good throw. But you've got to really get back there, but then you have to react. And it looked like Chris Carpenter saw where that throw was going to be and reacted accordingly.
And it might have been the case where he just went right to that spot and then was going to adjust.
But
like, would I have to go to third? Would I have to just go to the plate? And then the throw was thrown right to him. But if he was not there and Pena would have got on third, that would have been a sac fly and they'd have the lead.
Absolutely. Marlon Byrd with a chance to give the Cubs the lead here in the 6th inning. 6-3 Atlanta in the top of the 8th inning in Washington.
Giants are underway against the D-backs.
No score, top of the 2nd inning.
How far do they trail? No way they can. There's 6 games with 6 to play, trailing Arizona.
Curveball, strike on the inner half. He hung that a bit, but gets the call.
Instead of that 12-6, it kind of starts inside and kind of floats over and down.
It's a dangerous place.
Yes, it is.
That gets more of the plate. 0-2.
Ricky, with a smaller strike zone, you know, you see a lot of batters that don't even offer at that hang and breaking ball. But in our era, the strike zone was higher, and we know how bad that pitch can be and how far it can travel. Dave Duncan even told me one time he stopped teaching the curveball because no one was calling the high strike.
Line drive handled by David Freese. A break for the Cardinals there. The Cubs get on the scoreboard here in the 6th. Berkman when we come back. The official online shop of the St. Louis Cardinals at Cardinals.com. Shop the largest online selection of official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, only at Cardinals.com. Lance Berkman this season against Ryan Dempster. Very good numbers, a couple of home runs.
2 for 6 RBIs. He's got 2 walks here this evening. There's a second home run. Both of them coming right here at Busch Stadium. Maybe we can make it more.
And those numbers were coming into play here tonight. He's walked twice in this game. And we have just been informed now that the last successful Cardinals squeeze play was the 1st of October of last year. Matt Pagnozzi was at the plate, and Alan Craig, the runner, at third. So now we know.
Kind of remember that now. You talk about it. Berkman mentioned 2 walks tonight. 16 walks that he has received from Dempster over his career. Dempster's walked 4.
Cardinals run came in the 2nd. Cubs run at the top of the 6th. Cardinals batting in the bottom of the 6th. Redbirds have won, Al, their last 5 series. Won 13 out of 17 games. And the favorite question around St. Louis today, even after yesterday's loss, how many games do the Cardinals have to win to at least tie Atlanta? And of course we're guessing because Atlanta is leading in Washington today, but they also go on to play the Phillies. In fact, we have an update. The Nationals, oh good, they're batting. Jason Worth, a solo home run, has cut the lead to 6-4. The Nationals still batting in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Remember that very good and young bullpen for Atlanta. He has been struggling in September, so that game is far from over.
Very possible that the Braves would go 3-3 the rest of the way, playing the Nationals and then Philadelphia, Phillies, which would mean the Cardinals would have to win 5 of 6. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, and I think it's just easier to say the Cardinals need to win every game
and hope
for the best,
and hope that Atlanta doesn't do the same. Well, certainly that's the way the players have to think about it.
Philadelphia's lost 6 straight, so you know Charlie Manuel's not happy about that. They were postponed tonight due to rain, and he told both of us that those final 3 games, I am not putting my B team out there. I'm putting the regulars out there because 1, my mindset is I want to win every game. But 2, because I've got some of my key players that are coming back from injury. They don't really have their batting stroke, and I want them to go on a winning streak going into the playoffs.
Howard, Utley, both not swinging the bat well.
Rollins
in Philadelphia, right?
Banez has had a down season, so they've got a couple issues in their bullpen. They got to get their lefty going.
Sure if that was a straight change or a split out, but that was right in the middle of the plate without much movement on it.
This goes to show you even how tough it is to still center a ball. No break to it, just enough to not be able to hit it on the sweet spot and foul it back.
5 strikeouts for Dempster. And now 5 walks. You and I thinking alike again, Al. That's scary.
For you.
You're right. Yadier Molina steps to the plate. What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. Coverage begins at 11:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. Kyle Loach looking for victory number 15. Rodrigo Lopez 6-6 for Chicago. Game 2 with the Cubs here tomorrow. The Cardinals are 8-4 against the Cubs so far this year, with these 3 games remaining. Cubs 22 games out of first place. You wonder how much it's in the mind of a Chicago Cub player that, you know what, we want to finish ahead of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're actually even with them now, and yeah, it's just for 4th place, but you wonder whether that still has some meaning. I'm sure it does for the manager.
Managers and coaches, it has a lot of meaning.
I'm sure it does. Molina's 1 for 2.
And Ricky, a lot of people may not understand, but a lot of times you'd rather face a team, a good team, something that has, you know, something left to play for, than a team that just is wanting to be a spoiler. But even though you're playing the Cubs and then Houston, who's already lost 102 games, doesn't mean it's going to be a cakewalk. You still have to play extremely hard, and I think you have to create your own luck.
Well, one of the issues is you're Coy Hill, the catcher, and you've had an off year, 188. You want to finish strong. You want to keep your job. You're a guy like Brian LaHare, who's getting your first shot at playing more regularly in the big leagues. You want to make an impression. Carlos Pena, you want to be back as the first baseman for this Cubs team next year and show that the money they've invested in you is maybe going to be worth it down the road.
No doubt about that. You know, I mean, everything. This guys can kind of look at an individual and say, you know, hey, the more I am, there's other clubs out there. If the Cubs don't want me, you know, I'm playing for my contract next year, so you better play every day like you're auditioning.
If you're the shortstop Castro, you're thinking, I've had a really good year, and I know I'm coming back, and I know I'm pretty good.
But you want to become better in other aspects of the game. You know, this kid has got a bright future. And you know, like you said, everybody playing for contracts. You know, not only do you want to play hard for and you know, look for to impress other ball clubs, but what was it Clemente said? You know, every day I take the field, I play for the fans. I want to show them that they think I'm one of the best. I want to prove it to them.
There goes a runner up the middle, base hit. Molina. Freese is headed to third, and the Cardinals have runners at first and third with 1 out here in the 6th inning. Another bullet off the bat of Yadier Molina.
I threw over the mound and on through. Yachty, who just come up with a lot of big key hits, ball up, out over the plate. You see Freese running on there.
And Freese is safe at third, safe and secure, New York Life.
Mark Riggins, former Cardinal minor league pitching coordinator and Cardinal pitching coach under Joe Torre, out there on the mound, talked to Dempster. They got activity in their bullpen. Looks like Samardzija.
With a lot of respect for Mark Riggins.
Jeff Samardzija, it is the right-hander.
Riggy taught me how to throw as a teammate, taught me how to throw a sinker. Was a Cardinal minor league pitcher for many, many years, and you mentioned Cardinal pitching coach in the big league level, and just really just an even keel kind of guy. He knows the game very, very well, and I know it's been a long season for him, and you have some injuries, you have guys not ready. That's what happens. Big opportunity for St. Louis here, and Skip Schumacher at the plate. Runners at first and third.
Mitchell Boggs warming up for the Cardinals. Where's he been?
starts warming up because he could become in a situation you need to pinch hit for Carpenter, and there's some margin protection behind Dempster.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. I'm not sure I'd be too happy about pinch hitting for Chris Carpenter, but you might just have to do it.
That's why it's important for Skip right here to do something like he did back in the 2nd inning, give the Cardinals a new lead.
Take a walk.
It's 3-0. Today's game, rarely are you given a take sign. And if you swing 3-0, you better be able to drive the ball. Right down the middle with 87.
5 walks and 5 strikeouts for Dempster. He's now over 100 pitches. Chris Carpenter is just at 85. The Cardinals might have to hit for him in this inning, pending what Skip Schumacher does, and Theriot behind it. 3-1 to Schumacher. And it's ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Ryan Theriot. Freeze the runner at 3rd. Molina at 2nd, and Schumacher at 1st. 1-1, bottom of the 6th. The game may very well be on the line right here in the 6th inning.
You know, Carpenter has always been such a professional. He's always says that, I pitch, when Tony makes a decision to take me out, I come out. I don't question it. And you kind of wonder if he's saying, if we get a lead, can I stay in this ball game?
3 left-handers in the Cubs bullpen. Not throwing now. The first pitch, grounded to 3rd. They're going to come home first, out there, and on to 1st. And a double play. 5-2-3 ends the Cardinals' 6th. Big pitch for Dempster. On to the 7th. What happens if there is a 3-way tie in the wild card in either league this season? It's a very good question.
And Ricky, you probably could say the answer a little easier.
I believe I have the understanding that if there's a 3-way tie in the National League, the team that has the best record within that league, which means does not count interleague play, they would get a bye. And the other 2 teams would play on Thursday, and then they would play the team with the bye on Friday to determine who wins the wild card. That is my understanding, and this ball is past Freeze and down the line. It'll be retrieved by Schumacher. A leadoff double for LeMahieu. I believe that's how that will be scored.
Usually scored that way. You can see David Freeze over the bag, tries to backhand it, and just got a little bit. They scored E5. I agree with that scoring, but we rarely see the correct scoring.
Error number 12 in the season for Freeze. Bunting situation perhaps for Hill. Top of the ninth, 7-4 now, Atlanta over Washington. There's a butt attempt in front of the plate. Molina's going to get it and throw out Hill.
Blake DeWitt is going to pinch hit here for Dempster.
Thirteen pinch hits and 61 plate appearances for DeWitt. And that's going to result in a conversation with Derek Lilliquist and Chris Carpenter. Carpenter got a reprieve in an extra inning because Ryan Theriot bounced into that inning-ending double play.
But that's only good if you can shut out the opposition. Carpenter got one out, looking for the strikeout. Blake DeWitt this season, 213 pinch hitter. 13 for 61, 1 home run, 8 RBIs. 242 against right-handed pitching. Much better, 379 off of softballs. Sykeston, Missouri, home of the throne roll.
Cardinals need a pop-up right here.
Like to see those numbers. 3 for 17 off of Carpenter. 3 strikeouts, and that's what he'd like. But you can't strike somebody out until you get 2 strikes on them. So early in the count, you're looking for a pop-up.
Her ball just misses.
The infield in, outfield shallow. Straight away. Schumacher in left a little slower, a little more in.
Ground ball, Pujols has it, but foul. Seven to 4, bottom of the ninth now in Washington.
Ricky, I was just looking at if the 3 teams, you could check my math here.
Ground ball to the right side. The runner is not going to score. Blake DeWitt, infield ground out, not going on contact. The runner LeMahieu at third, and the Cardinals get a break there.
I'm not going on contact or seeing a ball on the right side and trying to come in. But they do have Castro, who is a good RBI man for a leadoff man. But LeMahieu not running. Easy little ground ball. He couldn't read it off the bat. And like I said, with Castro coming up, it's a little different situation.
It's also why you play the infield in.
Right. And, you know, he's got 63 RBIs.
And he pops this one up. Shallow right field. Berkman has it. Carpenter gets out of the 7th, and it's time to stretch. 1-1 from Busch Stadium. Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins September 30th with the Division Series on TBS.
Ricky, I was going to say that, according to your scenario with a triple tie for the wild card, as you see our Mid-America Chevy dealers called to the bullpen. Jeff Samardzija will come in here, the hard thrower. Very durable this year, 74th appearance, ERA at 3, 86 strikeouts, strikeout per inning. And Chambers will pinch hit here. But if everybody tied with the same record, and then you say what you did in the wild card, the Cardinals would get the bye, because both Atlanta and the Giants are 10-5 in interleague play. The Cardinals were 8-7. Agree?
Agreed. Cardinals have a better record in the National League.
Better record in the National League.
We're verifying the details of that particular scenario, which we hope we have to deal with.
But you have to win this game.
And simply, if the Cardinals were to tie the Braves, it would be a game on Thursday following the final regular season game in Houston. And Atlanta would come to St. Louis. Popped up. Ball trying to get out of play, but it doesn't. LeMahieu retires Chambers. Second inning, Cardinals pick up a run. Chris Carpenter, suicide squeeze, scores. Schumacher. Cubs answer in the 6th. Then a double play. Ryan Theriot, 5-2-3, ends a Cub threat. And then Chris Carpenter pitches out of a jam to retire the Cubs in the top of the 7th. And here we are, bottom of the 7th. There we go. Base hit to center for John Jay, his first hit of the night.
Sean Marshall, the fine lefty, warming up for the Cubs. And we got our answer. Who's going to come out of that bullpen is Kyle McClellan, like we thought. There you see Marshall, who's having a great season. Look at this. Drops that bat head, ball down and in, just rifles it back over the mound and into center field.
One out, Jay the runner at first. Hit and run, perhaps? Not there. Ball 1.
Cardinals have hit into 2 more double plays. It's 164.
Lopez and Loesch tomorrow. Edwin Jackson and Randy Wells on Sunday. Here's the hit and run, swing and a miss, and John Jay is out by a mile. Nick Punto not able to get the bat on the ball to protect John Jay.
Tony is, we always say we want to see more of a running game, but so many times that has been the result. Hitter can't protect the runner, or you start the runner and he hits into a line drive double play. You don't send the runner, they hit into a ground ball double play.
John Jay has 6 stolen bases and he's been thrown out 7 times this year. Coy Hill right around 20% in terms of caught stealing number.
And the thing is about John Jay is just, when they're caught, he's not even close. So he's got great speed, but hadn't learned that art of base stealing. Pitch up in the zone, easier for a catcher to throw it.
3-2 to Punto. Fouled out of play. One run, 5 hits, no errors for the Cubs. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error for St. Louis. Ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Punto, so we will see Albert here in the 7th. And we'd like to see a little Albert home run, 100 RBIs, a win go to Carpenter. That's not too much to ask for, is it?
Not at all. And Albert hitting .455, 5 for 11 with 2 home runs against Samardzija. Maybe this will be the time. Gets his 3rd home run off Samardzija. Gets the 100 RBIs. Oh yeah, and Albert's on the scoreboard when he bats.
On the 4th of June, Albert hit a home run off of Samardzija in the 12th, and it was a game winner.
I remember seeing that. Samardzija just couldn't believe it. He had landed in the bullpen. Visitors bullpen out in left field.
It was Albert's 2nd home run of the night.
I remember it was almost a situation where he was trying to pitch around him, and that's why he was kind of in disbelief for the pitch he hit out.
This one's popped up behind home plate. In comes Pena and Hill. Pena calls him off, and Pujols is retired in the 7th. (7-4) Atlanta, so the Cardinals now return to 2.5 games behind Atlanta. San Francisco Giants 4.5 games out. They're gaining progress as well, and the Cardinals will need to keep pace with Atlanta by winning this game. And Kyle McClellan enters the ball game here in the top of the 8th. He's our Chevy call to the bullpen.
Kyle, 42nd appearance, first hit 17 or in the starting rotation. He's had 2 full days off, so he was unavailable the last 2 days. He should feel strong and ready to finish this ball game. Kyle's already thrown a career high in innings this season. He missed a couple years with elbow problems.
Fly ball in the gap, and it's down. And Barney round second. He's headed for third, and a leadoff triple for Darwin Barney on a ball looked like he got jammed on, and he just hit it the other way and found a hole.
Little guy and just kind of muscled it out there. It's his 6th triple of the year. His 2nd hit. And right away the Cardinals are in a jam. You see that ball running in, just kind of did hit it off the inner part of the bat. And they were playing way in, and a long chase to the wall to corral it and get it back in. Barney with that leadoff triple.
LaHare grounds it to Albert, and he's got the ball and touches first base. Barney does not advance. There's a break.
Once again, you know, I mean, the ball to the right side, you're told to go home, but you are coming up to Pena, the heart of the order, their cleanup hitter. There, Albert looks to see, but runner not going. Never broke real late, and then it's too late.
Cardinals are going to walk Carlos Pena intentionally. That's his 3rd walk of the night. He has a double and an RBI. And they're going to leave it up to Alfonso Soriano, bat with a runner at first and third.
Pena was 1 for 3 against McClellan. Soriano 3 for 7 and a home run off of Kyle. Soriano 0 for 3 against Carpenter. Derek Lilliquist come out and talk to Kyle McClellan.
Very good outing for Chris Carpenter, Al.
7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and he had to go at least 7 innings, and he would have gone longer if they wasn't coming up first up. Had that fastball working. There he gets Soriano swinging a ball way outside. There, the cutter working again, and he helped himself. He drives in the only run for the suicide squeeze for the Cardinals tonight. So very typical of many of Carpenter's games. You know, you just low run support. He goes deep in a ball game. There was one error by Freese that was troublesome, but he was able to pitch around it. But for whatever reason, Carpenter's been the guy that just doesn't get much run support.
Cutter misses. The Cardinals with 40,355 here today at the ballpark.
More seats available for the next 2 games.
Pretty good pitch there. Is called a ball. 2-0 to Soriano. Soriano's 0 for 3.
A lot of times we get him to swing and expand his zone, but trying to be patient here.
And a long one to left. It's deep, and it's into the Cubs bullpen. A 3-run shot for Alfonso Soriano. And just like that, it's 4-1 Chicago.
Soriano's 25th home run, 84 RBIs, 2nd home run off of Kyle McClellan, and it was a no-doubter over the Cubs bullpen. Hits from that explosive crotch, and then he comes and explodes on a ball. Boy, that ball was right there, and he knew it. He admired it, and the Cardinals got some work to do. Boggs back up and throwing in the Cardinal pen.
Soriano, one of those hitters that's just always dangerous. Even with a low batting average out, we talked about it. He's just got that power and ability that occasionally runs into one, and he did there.
Well, he fell behind the count, and that's a bad formula, having to throw him a strike. You like to get ahead and then let him chase the ball out of the strike zone. But he is so dangerous when he's hitting ahead in the count and you make a mistaken location.
403 feet on that home run by Soriano. Fly ball to center. Out number 2. Cardinals announcing here in the top of the 8th inning that with the 40,355 in attendance here tonight, that the club has gone over 3 million fans. So in the midst of the bad news of the Soriano home run, let us give some good news to Cardinal baseball. The state of Cardinal Nation is still very, very sound. We appreciate all the fans all season long coming out and watching and supporting Cardinal baseball.
It's amazing how year after year they come. Cardinal Nation, you can't just say St. Louis or the surrounding areas, because it's really 8 states and more.
Right.
You know, that people come. Season ticket holders that live 2 or 3 hours away, and a lot of times will come to a ballpark, and there's the DeWitts. They appreciate that. And, you know, I know season ticket holders that will go to work today and then get off, drive a couple hours to St. Louis, go back to work tomorrow, and make that return trip.
Well, the 3 million people not very happy right now. The Cardinals trail by 3 going in to the bottom of the 8th inning. Are waiting. Grab some buds by Bank of America, where ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope with Bank of America. Member FDIC. And for the melty, crunchy, spicy, and grilled taste you want at night, experience late night at Taco Bell. Hours vary by location. Sean Marshall, one of the 3 left-handers in the Chicago Cubs bullpen, will pitch the 8th inning. They'll have Berkman, Freese, and Molina. And Al, at some point, will we see Matt Holliday in this game?
Holliday has a 375 average against Marshall, but he has been very good this year. September 11th set a single-season club record with his 31st hold. Early in his career, kind of as a starting pitcher, bounced back to AAA, but since 08, he's pitched primarily out of the bullpen with an ERA of 2.75.
And a base hit to center for Lance Berkman. Cardinals aren't done yet.
Berkman was a 300 hitter against him. They brought him in to turn around Berkman.
Tony Campana, perhaps the fastest player in the National League, is the new left fielder. And Reed Johnson is the right fielder.
Just a nice little piece of hitting, just slicing it up there. So once again, high on base percentage for Berkman. 2 walks, a hit tonight. 1 for 2, but on base 3 times. That's what we need, base runners.
Giants lead the D-backs 1-0. That game now in the 5th inning. We've mentioned the Braves have already won. The Cardinals trailing here. Our Home Depot doing more on defense. And we're going to give it to a fan, even though he's a Cub fan. That's how nice we are here in St. Louis. We're going to give that award to that fan who made that nice play on Albert Pujols.
Neither one of these teams are having very good defensive years, so why not? Give it to a fan. Brought his glove and
he earned
made good use of it. And nobody's going to claim that man as Bartman.
David Freese swings and misses. He strikes out.
I went to the zoo today with my youngest grandson. Went to go see the 3-month-old young, little elephant, the 3rd offspring from Raja. And when I was walking through, a very nice gentleman that works at the zoo, a former basketball coach, 46 years at Maplewood High, told me, hey, I saw the shots of the zoo. Confirmed that it was a jaguar.
You were all over that.
One thing I might have got wrong is I said it was a sun bear, and it could have been a sun bear, or it could have been the little bear that comes from the Andes Mountains that looks just like the sun bear, but he's a little bit bigger.
The depth of your animal knowledge just amazes me. They didn't try to throw you in a cage there, did they?
No, that's where I live. Out between the bears and the monkeys, and don't throw food at them.
0-1 to Yadier Molina. Molina at .303, 13 homers, 63 RBIs. The Cardinals need a gapper here in a big way. They trail in the 8th. Ground ball up the middle, base hit Molina. 2 runners aboard now for St. Louis.
How resilient this ball club is after the devastating 3-run home run. They aren't putting their heads down. They're going to come out here and say, okay, we can overcome that. And Alan Craig is now going to pinch hit for Schumacher.
And it's so easy to do what you say, Alan, to kind of just turn over and give up and just kind of act lethargic after that, be depressed. But I have admired that about this Cardinal team, especially here in the second half.
No doubt. And I'm sure, the offense is saying, hey, we didn't do anything for Carpenter. He's the one that drove in the only run of the game. So, we've, in this game, we've kind of let down the pitching staff. And so still have time to come back.
Craig is the tying run at the plate here in the 8th inning. Breaking pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1.
Curveball, it just starts in the middle and then breaks down and in, but good bite to it. Alan Craig had that 2-run home run yesterday, get the scoring started. He's 0 for 3 when facing Marshall, but everyone's going to remember what he does right here tonight. Marshall's had a ERA under 1 in his last 30 outings. And they kind of feel like the book is, you know, he's fastball hitter. Start him off with breaking balls. Throw enough of them, you hang one.
The 0-2. Grounded to third. LeMahieu steps on the bag, across the diamond, and another double play.
Post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris, Kel Eldred are at Lumiere Place. The Cardinals looking to rally against the Cubbies. Al will hand out his Hungo of the Year plus another edition of Tony TV. That and more coming up. Mitchell Boggs on to pitch for the Cardinals. We go back to the booth and Rick and Al, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it very much. Mitchell Boggs does take over for the Cardinals here. Cardinals have out-hit Chicago 8-7. Unfortunately, the Cubs with the big hit, a 3-run home run in the 8th inning off the bat of Alfonso Soriano off of Kyle McClellan, and it's 4-1 Cubbies.
There you see what the bullpen has done the last 10 games, but pitched well in the previous 8. The last 2 have been a struggle. Boggs has struggled to get into a game. Inexplicably, you kind of wonder what happened to him this year. I remember one point he was the closer. Was 3 for 3 in save opportunities, blew a save, and not short after that he was in Memphis and pitching only a 3rd time in September. But September 2nd, September 3rd, and then 2 weeks later pitched on the 17th in Philadelphia. Has the ability to throw a 96-mile-an-hour sinker. That's almost unheard of.
Base hit up the middle for Coy Hill. That's his first hit of the night. Giants and the D-backs playing in the desert. Orlando Cabrera and the Giants strike first. Solo shot. 1-0 San Francisco. They're now in the bottom of the 5th inning at Chase Field. Cardinals expecting a bunt. Tony Campana takes ball 1. You might say that Tony Campana is diminutive, Al. Not a big cat.
No, doesn't weigh much either. He leads the team with 22 stolen bases.
And a ground ball to third. Freese is going to try to get the lead runner, and he does. No chance to get Campana, who runs like the wind.
get the lead man, but then you put a base stealing threat there. So kind of slashes down on the ball, and that's the key. You got to hit down on it because you don't want to line into a double play.
And now we have a correction about how we will handle the three-way tie if that happens. And of course, the Cardinal fans are really hoping that does happen now with the way the score sits here and San Francisco winning and Atlanta already having won the game. But if we do end up with a three-way tie, it's actually the combined record head-to-head, not against the rest of the National League, that matters when determining who gets the bye. So complicated system of determining how to handle the Thursday and Friday games if it is a three-way tie, and the Cardinals would love to be a part of that.
Okay, now what happens if that ends up in a tie?
Then we just give it the Cardinals because we want to.
Then we go to the other scenario where the Cardinals, win out and get the bye. But got to get there first.
There goes Campana, high and in. There's the throw, not in time. Another stolen base.
Really no shot for Molina, as he got a tremendous jump off of Boggs. Boggs not the quickest to the plate, and Molina really didn't have any chance at all. Campana has 144 steals in 4 seasons in the minor leagues. You see that jump, he was about 2/3 of the way there, or 2/5 of the way there, 40% of the way, and the ball was coming to the plate.
Campana, like Barney, another one of those guys that they want to get stronger next year.
Kind of a fine line, though. You got great speed. You don't want to bulk up too much.
Base hit to center. They have no chance to get Campana. He flies by home plate, and it's 5-1 Chicago.
'64th RBI for Castro out of the leadoff spot. Second hit, 201 hits now in the season, and he's only 21 years of age. He's kind of up on the inner part of the plate, just hits it back through. A guy like Boggs that has that sinking fastball. He just, you haven't pitched a lot. You're overly strong. You can't get the ball down.
Five to 1 Chicago, top of the 9th inning in St. Louis. Cardinals will need a big comeback in the bottom of the 9th to avoid going 3 games behind Atlanta with 5 to play. Ground ball to third, Freeze to second for 1, and on to first. Inning-ending double play. Bottom of the 9th ahead. Cardinals need 4 tallies. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. 5-1 Chicago, bottom of the 9th inning. Game 1 of a 3-game series. Carlos Marmol, the closer for the Cubs, to pitch the 9th inning, and he can be nasty.
34 saves, but in 43 opportunities. And for Marmol, it's a high ERA, almost 4. Still 94 strikeouts in 71 plus innings. 53 hits during that time. Can be very nasty, but in some ways having an off year.
Say he's not quite throwing as hard as he has in the past, but he's still very, very tough. Terrio, a pinch hitter, and then John Jay for the Cardinals in the 9th.
That's why what Mariano Rivera is doing is just remarkable. 600 plus saves, all-time save leader now, but to do it for so long. When a lot of your rear back and throw relievers really have a short career. They can be very good, but it really not last long because they lose that velocity. And once you lose that velocity, you're not, much more hittable. Marmol was a very good setup man before taking over the closer's role, and got to learn a few tricks as you go along.
0-2 to Terrio. And he blows him away with a high fastball. You bet. Out number 1.
Scalzo will hit now. So not 93, 94, but up there, it's very difficult to catch up to it. That's a pitcher's pitch.
Terrio's tough to strike out too.
Yeah, but it's a pitch you got to lay off of. But it looks so good. You see it so well. It's up near the eye level, but it's hard to catch up to.
We should offer our congratulations to longtime Cardinal employee Mike Bertani.
55 years working for the Cardinals, and announced his retirement. This will be his last year, and boy, he has been outstanding throughout those years, and all the different areas that he's worked, and very, very appreciative of everything that Mike has done.
Two 2-0 to Descalzo.
He is 0 for 4 when facing this hard thrower. And we shouldn't just say hard thrower because he does have a good breaking ball too.
Sure does. Cardinals 2 outs away from falling 3 behind Atlanta. Get a 1-out walk to Descalzo in the 9th inning. Like to just see that tying run at the plate. Wouldn't that be fun?
4 runs is not impossible to overcome in the 9th inning.
You keep saying that as if you've seen that happen recently.
Well, no, my memory isn't that good, but it seems like I have, and so why not the Cardinals do it?
Certainly capable. Couple of base hits in front of Albert. How fun would that at bat be? Our Budweiser player of the game, Alfonso Soriano, his 3-run home run in the 8th. The big blow in this contest.
He took something off and had Descalzo. Not only was changed his speeds, but he left it away and pulling off that pitch. Little stolen base, defensive indifference.
Swing and a miss. A couple of strikeouts for Marmol here in the 9th inning. And the Cardinals down to their last out, and Nick Punto.
Punto 1 for 4 off of Marmol. Cardinal hitter with the most success against the Marmol is Molina, 545, 6 for 11.
Had a lot of work to get to his spot in the lineup.
Albert in the 270s on deck.
Cardinals were really at their Alamo about 3 weeks ago, and they came out fighting, and I think their backs are against the wall again after this one. I mean, you can't get much worse than where the Cardinals will be with 5 games to play, 3 games out. Basically, you're going to have to run the table.
You know, in 64, Cardinals came from behind, and on that Friday night going in, it wasn't only the Cardinals chasing down Philadelphia, but it was 3 or 4 clubs. And the Cardinals lost on Friday. They lost Saturday. They won on Sunday and won the pennant. Back there, remember, there was only 8 teams.
Marmol flips to Pena, and the Cubs win game 1 of this 3-game series, and a frustrating loss for the Cardinals as they lose 5-1.
Disappointing, but hey, mathematically you're still alive.
Game 2 is tomorrow, but the post game is coming up next.